Hi, this is Margo. This is Monday afternoon, April the 27th, 2020, and CAMS did not have new methane data up yesterday, so I was waiting until their Sunday data came up till I did the report. So they put it up last night, and so we've got Sunday for the 26th. We also have NOAA data, and we're going to be looking at that and the weekly report from NOAA to see what methane is done overall for the week, and then our usual daily updates. So I'm going to do it for yesterday and today on the other daily updates. So I hope everyone is doing as well as possible. All of a sudden I'm really hoarse. It's been off and on pretty hoarse. No, well, my throat doesn't hurt. I'm just that tickly feeling in the back of my throat. So that's what I've got going on. So let's look at CAMS methane first. And this is where it left off on Saturday for the 25th, where we had this high release in the Kerosene here, and we had seen a high release off the coast of Severnaya Zemlya like on Wednesday, and it had dissipated, but it pulsates and tends to do that. And then we've still got this release going off on the coast of Alaska. So let's run this movie. Here's the color ledger, and so the data is for Sunday, and the forecast runs Monday through Thursday. So here we go. So we're seeing a new release. It just keeps cycling. It kind of dissipates and then a new release, but it keeps coming up from this same place on this tip of the island here and in the water there. And we're also seeing this release keep pulsating here on the coast of Alaska, and also down here in southern Alaska where the earthquake activity is so high along with the volcanoes that are down there. Also remember that the lighter shades of green are also methane releases as well. We tend to gravitate towards the reds and the dark browns, but the green, especially the light green and the chartreuse, those are good sized methane releases as well. We also are seeing release popping up off this western coast of Iceland. We'll cycle it through again. See right here where my pointer is? So that's for Monday and Tuesday. We're going to see a pulsing there. Now let's hop to the North Pole view. I apologize for my voice. There's nothing I can do about it. We're still seeing high releases in Europe and the UK. See, it's covered up on Sunday all across, and still high releases here in the Persian Gulf, and India is blossoming back. Here's China. We can see it going across the border over the ocean where it's releasing as well. Here's Japan. It's covered up. And here in the North America, look at this wave moving out from North America in the Atlantic, and so the United States is blossoming again with methane, but methane actually did decrease again this week, a sizable amount, but we expect that at this time of year. We don't expect it to just be going up straight up at this time of year, so we need some valleys. So when we get ready to look at the NOAA data, you'll see that it's actually gone down for the second week in a row. Sizably. Now look down here at the tip of South America. We've got high releases going off constantly down here. Now there are volcanoes that are down there, so it's probably from that. Now let's look at the 500 HPA view. Okay, so here we can see a lot of dark coming out across the Pacific Ocean and over the north, over the Arctic here. But we are seeing areas of breaks in the red and seeing peaks of orange through there. So that's a lower reading. Although we are seeing it further south as well. See, coming across from Baja, Mexico, across the Gulf of Mexico. Also coming across here, across the Pacific. Now for total column, here's what it looks like today or yesterday. We can see the highest is over China, and it's kind of, this cloud is kind of spreading out kind of big, and then northern India is still quite high, and then over South America, over Brazil, is still quite high. Now we'll go through the pictures. This is from yesterday, the pictures I had ready yesterday. This is the 2-meter temperature anomaly from yesterday, Sunday, April 26th. This is from Climate Reanalyzer. We can see the red has moved across the Arctic, and worldwide it's up 0.6 C higher than normal this week, today or yesterday. For the northern hemisphere is up 1 C. The Arctic is up 2.9 C. Then that's come way down. It peaked out, I think it was on Tuesday, it was 5.2 C for the Arctic, higher than normal. The tropics are up 0.7 C, the southern hemisphere is up 0.3 C, and the Antarctic is up 0.3 C. Here's the flat view. Now look how red it is down here. Next to, here's the Weddell Sea. This is this western peninsula. So this whole eastern part of the Antarctic is in the red. And we can see the brown coming down through Russia and through Greenland is brown. We've got cold air still up in northern Canada, and the eastern part of the United States and Canada are in the blue, and the western part are in the brown, meaning higher than normal over there. Now here's the NOAA data for the 25th. They're a day behind reporting, so this was for the show I would have done yesterday. And this is the data that we got for the weekly NOAA methane update. We're reading the 477/469 millibar reading for the METOP-1 satellite in the morning. The mean, or the average, was 1891 parts per billion, and the high was 2505. And the chartreuse, I always say that, the fuchsia color, the bright pink, is the high reading. Down here on the scale is between 2000 and whatever the high reading is up here. And on this chart it's 2505. In the afternoon, the mean was 1889 and the high reading was 2394. And the METOP-2 satellite in the morning, the mean was 1862 and the high reading was 2295. In the afternoon, the mean was 1860 and the high reading was 2308. So here's our spreadsheet and the graph that we're working from. So for the 25th, here I plugged in all of the numbers I just called off and added them up and divided by 4. And so the average for Saturday was 1875.50 parts per billion. So that's down from the week before 3.75 parts per billion. So here it is on the graph, again, gone down. It's right here. And the week before that, it had gone down 4 parts per billion. And the week before that, it had gone down half a part per billion. But if we look back to April of last year, it went down as well. And you can see that in March it went up, and then it went back down and up around the first part of May. And if we look back through the data here it is from April the 6th. It had gone up in March, and then April the 13th it had gone down 2.25. And then on April the 20th, it had gone down another 3.25. And then on the 27th, it went up 5.5. So that was a huge increase. And then on May the 4th, it went down 4.5. And then it kind of hung around that area. And then in June, it started going back up. But in April of last year, on the 27th, it was 1866.50. And on the 25th, it's 1875.50. So 9. So we're higher 9 parts per billion than last year, this time last year. And the change from March the 1st or April 29th of this year, it's gone down 1 part per billion now. And the change since March 1st of last year, it's gone up 18.25. That's correct. So let's go back to our pictures. This is sulfur dioxide global view for total column from yesterday. Now, if you're not a Subscribe member, you've not seen my videos that I put out on a daily basis where I'm showing these different levels. And so this week we saw the high levels of sulfur dioxide dissipating. So if you've been just watching my YouTube videos over the last few weeks, we were seeing lots of reds and dark reds, and big clouds, huge clouds. And if you haven't watched any of those, go back and watch them, especially through March. We were having massive areas showing large and very high levels of sulfur dioxide, mainly over the northern hemisphere and mainly over the most northern latitudes. And I couldn't figure out what that was from, and so now I'm thinking it's from the sulfates falling out of the sky, because now we're seeing that it's kind of dissipating. We're not seeing a bunch of bright reds. We're seeing a little bit here over China still. Here in southern Kazakhstan, there's some kind of industry going on there, releasing sulfur dioxide, I'm thinking. India still has reddish tinge to it, and these Middle Eastern countries with the oil and oil production tends to produce a lot of sulfur dioxide. Also here at Popocatépetl, that volcano is continuously erupting. So around the volcanoes we're still seeing a lot of sulfur dioxide coming up. And then here in Alaska, also not only volcanoes but earthquakes, so you see a little bit higher there. But overall the decrease is just incredible, and so we're seeing it go down to the golden and the cream colors. We're seeing the greens come back in, and even the blues come back in. Here it is at 500 HPA, so it's dissipating at that level as well. You can see none of those huge red clouds now. Here in the Searles Valley Ridgecrest area of Southern California, I'm tracking these earthquakes on a daily basis. And yesterday morning there were 26 there out of 287. So those were my pictures from yesterday. Now let's go to the pictures for today. For Monday, today, the 27th, we're showing this red is changing to brown now over this East Siberia Sea, and it's brown covering Greenland now, and the brown is moving up into Canada, and the blue is moving out to the east here. So the cooler air is moving to the east, and also northern Canada is still quite cool. So overall, worldwide, we're up 0.6 degrees Celsius higher than normal. The northern hemisphere is still at 1°C higher than normal. The Arctic is up 2.5 C. The tropics are up 0.6 C. The southern hemisphere is up 0.3 C. And the Antarctic is up 0.5 C. So we're seeing that increase. I took a picture. This is the Antarctic, where it's all this whole western side. I think I said eastern a while ago. This is the western and northern. This is north up here, north and northwest area quadrant is basically in the red, meaning it's about 20 degrees higher than normal. Here's the flat view. We can see it move, this warmer air moving down through Russia and into China and Mongolia and Kazakhstan. Also Australia and Northern Africa and parts of South America. Now for the NOAA methane data from yesterday, same reading, 477/469 millibar reading for the Met-Op-1 satellite in the morning. The mean was 1891 and the high reading was 2388. In the afternoon, the mean was 1891 again and the high reading was 2383. On the Met-Op-2 satellite in the morning, the mean was 1860 and the high reading was 2301. And in the afternoon, the mean was 1859 and the high reading was 2333. So I'm tracking this data on a daily basis now, just for my own. Because I want to. So here it is for the 26th, where I added up all those numbers and divided them by 4, and so it comes up to 1875.25. So that's a decrease of 0.25 parts per billion from the day before. Now we can see from this last week that it went down. So here it is from Saturday to Saturday, and where the minus sign is, that's where it went down from the day before. And if it doesn't have a minus sign, it means it went up. So most of the days it went down, and then on Saturday it went up 1 part per billion, and a couple of other days it went up a little bit, but it averaged out to be down 3.75 this last week. And so if we add in from yesterday now, it's down another 0.25. So in the since the 18th, it's gone down 8 parts per billion. So here's sulfur dioxide from today, global view total column. Again, you can see it dissipating right before your very eyes. Look at the greens moving into Canada now and into the western United States. It's been a long time since we've seen that. And over Europe, greens, and over Norway. We do have a new release up here in northern Russia. We're going to look at that. Here it is at 500 HPA. This is Hawaii stuff going off there. But we've got 2 releases, or 2 things going on up here in northern Russia. This is the Eurasia view. Here's China. Here's southern Kazakhstan. And here we have the exclamation point, which is the signature. We actually have 2. This looks more like a disc, like a little UFO, but I'm calling it an exclamation point. And we have seen earthquakes here. Now this is the Yamal Peninsula. No, I'm sorry. This is the Yamal Peninsula here. Get my bearings. And the tectonic plate line runs right through here. So this is an active area seismically. So we're seeing a signature here, here, and another one here. So actually 3 earthquake signatures, meaning the sulfur dioxide is coming up first, and we could see an earthquake after that. Now look at this. Here it is at 500 HPA, and it's a large and heavily concentrated. It's 2 releases. It looks like 2 separate ones. There's one right up here. This is in the Laptev Sea. And then one down here on land. And this is, see the little comma with the tail? That's the exclamation point. Here it is here, and it kind of curves around. So that's kind of a, this one is kind of a, looks like a little fish. It's kind of split off, but I'm really thinking this is earthquake activity that's going to happen. And a lot of times earthquakes happen up in Russia and we don't get reporting of it. But I believe this is showing plate movement when we see this as well. Here's the North Pole view. In addition to this release, we've got this continuing here in southern Alaska. And here it is at 500 HPA, so that's more surface level. That's why it's not coming up through here. What we saw here, the reddish, it's probably more surface level and more of a slow release rather than something kind of fast and quick. If it's fast and quick and shoots up into the atmosphere, we'll see it gather at 500 HPA like we do here. So we'll be looking for some earthquakes up there. Here in the Cyrils Valley Ridgecrest area, this morning there were 40 earthquakes out of 266 worldwide. So you can see an uptick there. And that's all of the pictures. Hold on, I want to locate the 2 meter temperature anomaly where it spiked out from Tuesday. I'll be right back. I meant to get that up. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I'm going to show you. This one is from Monday the 20th, and look at how red this whole Arctic is. And it was, I can't do the pointer down there, 5 C higher than normal up here. I've never seen it that high until the next day where this was on Tuesday the 21st, and it's moved out a little bit more and it's even brighter red, and you can look at the bottom and see that the Arctic is 5.2 C higher than normal. And that's the highest I've seen it. Now in Sam Carana's paper or post about the Arctic tipping points, the 10 Arctic tipping points, one of them, he was running the forecast for Climate Reanalyzer for 2 meter temperature anomaly, and on there they were forecasting that on the 21st that it would be 5.5 C higher than normal. So we didn't quite make it that high, but we did top out at 5.2 C higher than normal. And so it's up here in this bright red where it's heading on up into the white zone. So right here you see where it's real bright, and then it starts turning into the pinky color. So there's that. So even though methane is going down, we're still having high temperatures, and I anticipate the temperatures to be increasing, along with radiation and ozone depletion. Now we're going to look at earthquakes in the last 24 hours. We're showing 287 worldwide of all magnitudes. We'll start down here in South America. Here's a 4.2 and a 4.2 next to each other. These are both on land. This one, San Antonio de los Cobres, Argentina, was 243 kilometers deep. And then the other 4.2, San Pedro de Atacama, Chile, was 168 kilometers deep. When you see them deep like that, they don't do much shaking on the surface, and therefore they don't do a lot of damage generally, depending on the size. So those probably didn't cause any damage whatsoever. Here in New Zealand we have two. This one is in between the North and South Islands. It's a 4.3 near Takaka. This came in at 7:01 p.m. last night, 205 kilometers deep. And then a 4.9 near Tainel, New Zealand. Looks like it's on land, on the red line, this tectonic plate line that runs down on this west side of the southern island. This came in at 3:52 p.m. this afternoon, 78 kilometers deep. And these times I'm telling you are Pacific time. Then here in Papua New Guinea, a 4.7 at Rabaul, Papua New Guinea, and a 5.4 near Namatanai, Papua New Guinea. Let's see if those were on land. It looks like that's just on the coast. Those were in the water. And the biggest danger when you have an earthquake close to the water like that, or close to the land like that, is tsunamis. That's the biggest danger, and underwater landslides. Here's a 4.3 at Tual, Indonesia. Here's a 5.1 at Pandaguitan, Philippines. Here's a 4.3 near Iwaki, Japan. Japan had activity on the island yesterday that I was watching. And up here, a 4.6 near Korug, Tajikistan. And then a 3.1 at Shijak, Albania. And then in the Caribbean, we have 25 here today. Mainly 2s. Oh, there's a 3.8. It's in the ocean. Here's a bigger one. 4.1. Notice that was in the ocean. It wasn't on land. Still clustering down here on the southern part of Puerto Rico. Now at Hawaii, they've got 16 here today. Mainly down here at Pahala. 2s, mainly 2s. Here at Alaska, we've got 68 here today. There's a 4.8 at Adak, 226 kilometers deep. That's a volcano, in case anybody wants to know. That's on a little island. Well, it's near Adak. Adak is down here. The whole thing is a volcano. 3.6 Unalaska. And then we've got several in the armpit here, where Canada comes up and meets Alaska. And this tectonic plate line bends up. Here at Koktovik we have a 2.4. Here's one in the Bering Strait, a 2.7 near Point Hope. And then they're peppered down across this southern part. This ridge that goes out into the Aleutian Islands, and that's all volcanic. So, down in the lower 48, we've got 166 today. Here's a 2.2 at New Madrid, Missouri. That's in the New Madrid seismic zone, danger zone. We have 10 in Oklahoma. I don't know if they've stopped drilling or not. They're still having earthquakes, so if they've stopped drilling and they're having earthquakes, that's not a good sign. Here's a 2.5 at Hera and a 2.5 at Blackwell. You know, if they've stopped drilling and they've got activity like this going on, it means that they've punched through so many times, punched into the earth and drilled in, that whenever there's the least little bit of pressure, it's just going to come up. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a big earthquake over there. Utah has 9 today. We still have some over here at Salt Lake City near Magna. Let's see, what do we have in Idaho and Montana? We've got 14. That's the Yellowstone region. Cascade is still going. That's here's a 2.6. Here's a 3.7. That's the largest one. Here in the Pacific Northwest, Here's one by Seattle, a 1.2, and one southeast of Portland, a 1.2. And the Juan de Fuca plate looks quiet today, and this fulcrum point looks quiet. But you never know. Here's one north of Pyramid Lake, a 1.1. Here's one west of Reno, a 0.6 at Downeyville, 1.8 at Gabbs. And you can see the earthquake makers are back at work because they take Saturday and Sunday off, and can see them peppered around across southern Nevada. And let's see how many are at Mammoth and this area today. We've got 13 here today. Fairly small, mainly 2s. And now see, here's Cyril's Valley Ridgecrest, and you see how this pressure, you can see the line, it's following this line, moving out, moving all the way out. Let's see what we've got this afternoon. We've got 40 this afternoon. We've got some clustering right down here. Here's a big dot. 4.0. That's one of the larger ones. And I haven't seen one that big here in a few days. 4.0. This came in yesterday at 8:46 p.m. Here's Baja. They've got a little activity. 2.0 and a 1.8. Now in Southern California, they've got 37. That's kind of an average number. Here's Anza. It's still, they've got some swarming still. So they're small, mainly 1s and under. Then we've got, see them along the San Andreas fault line coming up. Here's one by San Jose, a 1.6. Here's the geysers, they've got 21. Ones and under. That's it. Here's a new one. 2.9. Guanica, Puerto Rico. And we're continuing in our Bible reading of the prophetic books of the Bible. I've already read all 66 chapters of Isaiah, and now we're reading Jeremiah, and we're on Jeremiah chapter 19. Thus saith the Lord, Go and get a potter's earthen bottle, and take of the ancients of the people, and of the ancients of the priests, and go forth unto the valley of the son of Hinnom, which is by the entry of the east gate, and proclaim there the words that I shall tell thee, and say, Hear ye the word of the Lord, O kings of Judah, and inhabitants of Jerusalem. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, Behold, I will bring evil upon this place, the whichsoever heareth, his ears shall tingle, because they have forsaken me, and have estranged this place, and have burned incense in it unto other gods, whom neither they nor their fathers have known, nor the kings of Judah, and have filled this place with the blood of innocents. They have built also the high places of Baal, to burn their sons with fire for burnt offerings unto Baal, which I commanded not, nor spake it, neither came it into my mind. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that this place shall no more be called Tophet, nor the valley of the son of Hinnom, but the valley of slaughter. And I will make void the counsel of Judah and Jerusalem in this place, and I will cause them to fall by the sword before their enemies, and by the hands of them that seek their lives, and their carcasses will I give to be meat for the fowls of the heaven, and for the beasts of the earth. And I will make the city desolate, and in hissing. Every one that passeth thereby shall be astonished, and hiss because of all the plagues thereof. And I will cause them to eat the flesh of their sons and the flesh of their daughters, and they shall eat every one the flesh of his friend in the siege and straitness wherewith their enemies, and they that seek their lives, shall straiten them. Then shalt thou break the bottle in the sight of the men that go with thee, and shalt say unto them, Thus saith the Lord of hosts, Even so will I break this people in this city, as one breaketh a potter's vessel, that cannot be made whole again. And they shall bury them in Tophet, till there be no place to bury. Thus will I do unto this place, saith the Lord, and to the inhabitants thereof, and even make this city as Tophet. The houses of Jerusalem and the houses of the kings of Judah shall be defiled as the place of Tophet, because of all the houses upon whose roofs they have burned incense unto all the host of heaven, and have poured out drink offerings unto other gods. Then came Jeremiah from Tophet, whither the Lord hath sent him to prophesy, and he stood in the court of the Lord's house, and said to all the people, Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, Behold, I will bring upon this city, and upon all her towns, all the evil that I pronounced against it, because they have hardened their necks, that they might not hear my words. Jeremiah chapter 19. So I think these words are pertinent for today, and we need to heed God's warning. And we need to repent, and we need to be in prayer, we need to be on our knees in prayer and supplication in these days. And darker days are coming. You think it's dark now. Darker days are coming. You haven't seen anything yet. This is the precursor. So I recommend everyone get right with God and Jesus, and stay prayed up, and stay on the straight and narrow, and be looking to heaven and to Jesus for your answers. And pray that you're found worthy to be in God's kingdom, because a lot of people are not going to make it. And time is short. Time is short. A lot of people are dying. And a lot more people are going to die. No one knows the day or the hour. And you want to be right with God before your time comes. So I'm praying for everyone. So until next time, God bless you. Go in peace, and I will talk to you soon. Goodbye.